to be a church that points to Jesus. We need to be a church that does our best to look and act like and follow the teachings and the way of Jesus. And so often the church doesn't look or act like Jesus. One of the ways that happens today is by not caring about the suffering or not doing anything about those who suffer. And while Jesus does say a lot about suffering, he acts in a lot of ways around suffering. When people are suffering, in fact, for the whole first part of his ministry, he tended to their needs and he alleviated their suffering. So people were brought to Jesus who were dealing with all kinds of physical, mental, emotional torment and difficulty and suffering. And Jesus always did all he could to heal them. And so this is something that we as the church who try to point to Jesus and look like Jesus ought to also do. When we see suffering in our world, when people are hurting, when people are outcasts, when people are sick, when people are hungry, we don't just care in our words, but we actually respond. We do something for those who are suffering. And when the church begins to do these things or does them better, we end up looking more like Jesus. We end up pointing the way as a witness to Jesus. So many people have left and are leaving the church because they don't see enough churches or Christians caring for those who suffer.